You're listening to the Relational Astrology podcast, where we use the powerful tool of astrology to transform relationships in every area of your life: romantic, personal, professional, and beyond. This isn't your typical astrology podcast, and you don't need to be an astro expert to join in. Get ready for real-life examples, practical tips, and tools you can start using right away to strengthen your connections. Ready to improve the relationships in your life? Grab your birth chart and let's dive in.
I know you've been in this position before. You have been around a child and they are having a full-blown emotional meltdown. And all you want to do is make them stop. Whether it's a baby screaming in the middle of the night, a toddler kicking in the grocery checkout line, that friend's kid who is at a restaurant in public and they will not stop screaming or having a meltdown. We've all been there, where we just want the kid to chill out. And we wish we knew what it is that they actually wanted, because they're actually not communicating what it is that they need. This is where relational astrology comes in, and it is the instruction manual to that child. In that moment, you're going to know exactly what to do to soothe that child, to remove that trigger button, and to make them feel calm like a cucumber again. This is the value of using the tool of astrology to parent, nurture, and love a child. Now, I know we all wish our parents had this tool, this resource when we were children, but don't worry, today we are going to break it all down for my astro parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, teachers, anyone that interacts with children. You are going to know exactly what to look for and how to understand them better so you can start building the best relationships possible. If you're new here, hi, I'm Mandy Rose, and I use my own unique relational astrology method to help you have the best relationships in all areas of your life. I have noticed that conscious parenting is becoming such a hot topic, a hot thread all over social media. And yet we don't talk enough about astrology as a tool to enhance your parenting. So we are going to deep dive into that today, remembering that a child's birth chart is truly their instruction manual. If you haven't pulled up your child's birth chart yet, this is the first that you're hearing of it, I'm highly going to recommend it. You will see in the show notes, there's actually a video that I made on my YouTube channel walking you through step-by-step how I pull up someone's chart on astro.com. So go check that out. I'm going to give you a really good overview today, the keys, the tools, the resources, the things that you can actually uncover in a child's birth chart. What I find is so special is that before a baby's even born, we know that that soul is choosing a birth date, place, and time to come to Earth School on. So think of it this way. We're souls. We decide to come to Earth School. We have a journey, a mission, something we're here to accomplish. And we have to choose a vehicle, a vessel, a physical form to embody, right? And so we come to Earth School and we have a body, and then we inhale and we take our first breath. And in that first breath, you inhale all the energy of the cosmos, where each planet is, the location of the star sign it's in. And that becomes your energetic blueprint, your energetic compass on how to navigate your journey here on life. That is your birth chart. That is a child's birth chart. So from that moment forward, that is the energy you are meant to be in full alignment with. And how beautiful is that to know for a child the moment they are born? I think so many of us wish that our parents had the information of astrology when we were born, when we were younger, so they could relate to us better, they could understand us better. One of the most common struggles parents come to me to talk about is their child's communication or learning. They seem to struggle with traditional school systems. Maybe at home, they're not listening when they ask to do chores or get their homework done. There's some sort of mismatch in the way that a parent is speaking and the child is listening. Now, this is only one piece of a child's birth chart, but we can solve so many different common problems that parents are having when it comes to raising children. Another one that I get often is about children's temper tantrums, where they're having these outbursts or they're having these meltdowns and the parent can't seem to figure out what is going to calm the child down. And then another common one currently is a lot around adult children having struggles with their parents. Or parents come to me and they say their children are estranged from them. They no longer communicate with them, and their child's in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and they don't know what to do. Now, I never anticipated having that type of dynamic in my business, but it's been so beautiful to give that parent some insight into their own chart and also some insight into their child's chart so that they can relate to them better. And it's never too late. Now, another thing I find really interesting when it comes to parenting and astrology is often for parents who have more than one child, looking at each child's birth chart uniquely. Each one is different. You are not meant to parent each child in the exact same way. They're going to require different love languages, different ways in which they need to be motivated or driven towards their goals, their passions, their desires. Parenting can give you clues as to what kind of hobbies your children may want to enjoy when they're very young. It also gives you clues to what you can purchase them for toys. Also, it indicates some of the challenges and the tough lessons that they might have to overcome throughout the course of their life. There is so much to know about your child's birth chart. So we're going to do a really good overview today to help you see how this is such a valuable tool that you can implement and incorporate not only into your parenting style, but with your niece and nephews and children all around you. Now today I am drinking the Cancer tea blend because Cancer is the energy of the mother. It is the energy of being nurturing and sensitive and compassionate and empathetic. And I thought it would just be the perfect tea to get me in the motherly vibes to share this topic with you today. So grab your tea, grab whatever you're sipping on. Cheers, and let's get into it. So as we get into it, I kind of want to share with you a little personal story about my own family and my own mother and how she parents my brother and I completely different. Now, fun fact, my mother is a Cancer sun. She is truly the embodiment of a nurturer, compassionate, empathetic, literally the mother everybody would want. And she was in a family of all Virgos. My brother is a Virgo, I'm a Virgo, my father is a Virgo. So earth energy, we're very critiquing, we're very rational, very logical, very disciplined, very perfectionistic. And she just held that mother energy space. Non-judgmental, listening, easy, go with the flow. Here's the thing as we grew up. The way in which I have built the best relationship with my mom is because she started learning astrology about 5 years ago. And so she has done this naturally because she's an intuitive, triple water energy, Cancer sun, Scorpio rising, Pisces moon. So she's always trusted her gut instincts, and her gut instincts were to parent my brother and I differently. Now, it's only when she started learning astrology 5 years ago that this all made sense. But here's the difference. I am a Cancer moon. So as a child, I really needed to feel my emotions. I needed to feel safe and secure and to be nurtured. I needed her sun and Cancer energy to automatically make my moon in Cancer feel safe and secure. Now, my brother, on the other hand, has an Aquarius moon. So he's very detached emotionally. He has a hard time feeling emotions, processing emotions, speaking about emotions, acknowledging his emotions. He kind of just wants to move on. And my mother has always known this about him. She knows that if he wants to come and just sit down and chit chat with her, she knows he's probably going through something emotionally. She knows that she doesn't need to wait for him to cry to understand that he's going through something challenging. So these are examples that when you are dealing with children, it is so beautiful to understand their birth chart before they're even able to speak and express and communicate to you what it is that they need. Now, when we look at relational astrology at large, we have a really hard time, even if we've done a lot of personal development, putting words to what it is that we need in partnerships. Even in your most romantic situations, no matter how long you've been married, I'm sure it's difficult to find the language to say, hey, this is what I need you to do when I'm upset. This is what I would like if I'm being triggered, right? It's just hard to find that language, but our birth chart maps it out. And so with children, when they are born, we can immediately know how to soothe them, how to speak to them. So they're learning on day one from us. They can actually hear us. So we can deepen our connections with children so they feel safe in our presence and they can communicate with us and they can share with us. So we can look at their birth charts and see their unique talents, see where their superpowers lie. And we can anticipate seasons of their life where they maybe have obstacles. And we don't have to freak out as parents and say, oh my gosh, what am I doing wrong? Why is my child having all these health issues? Or why are they having all these friendship issues and nobody wants to play with them? See, each child comes with their instruction manual. And so when I'm talking about astrology for parents or grandparents or aunts or uncles or anyone, I want you to understand that you're here to support that child on their journey, that you are here to understand them for who they are, to not change them, to not force them into the type of hobbies that you like to do, to not just naturally assume that they're going to like certain toys because children of their age all like those toys and it's popular. Each child is unique and different. And so when there's more than one child in a family, to treat each one of them special because their birth charts are very special. Now, if you need to pull up your child's chart as we dive in today, you can head to my video on my YouTube channel. I break it down step by step so you can pull up your chart and it's going to look just like this. Now, it's a lot, it's complex. We're not going to get into all of it today, but I do want to leave you some nuggets of wisdom and what you can look for in your child's chart and the type of information that would be really beneficial for you. So first and foremost, when I'm doing an astrology reading for parents, I'm going to pull up the child's chart and I first do a really quick comparison of the parent's chart to the child's chart. And one of the quickest things I look at is master and missing elements. Now this can apply for all relationships. Let's say a parent's master element is fire. They just tend to be a little bit more heated, more temperamental, a loud tone. They talk very boldly. They're just very charismatic, very outgoing. And the child's master element is water. And so that child is more quiet. They're more passive. They don't like to go out in public. They're very shy. They don't like to speak up. That can be very hard for the parent to understand. But when you see the birth chart, you go, wow, that's just who they are. I shouldn't make them be anything other than that. So master and missing elements, I think, are very important to understand. Now, if you pull up the birth chart, the way in which I walk you through step by step, and you'll find that in the description box below, is there is going to be a little box here at the bottom that is going to show all the planets and their different elements. Why I love pulling up the chart like this is because all the zodiac signs are color coded. So the red ones are fire, the blue is water, the orange is air, and obviously green is earth. And so even if you don't understand all the zodiac signs, you can get a feel of the elements. So let's move on from there. Let's talk about your Mercury placements in your child's birth chart. Mercury is how our mind operates. So when you see elementally that maybe you have a Mercury in fire, again, so you speak with fire, right? Because our Mercury is our mind. So it's how we learn, how we listen, how we process, how we remember, and then how we speak back out into the world. So you might speak with fire with a Mercury in Aries, but your child, again, might have a Mercury in water in Pisces. And so you're too loud for them. You're too noisy for them. They can't hear you. So Mercury placements are beautiful to understand. When it comes to children and when I'm working with a parent, again, we go to Mercury first. If your child is before the age of speaking, you talk to them every single day. There are some children that you are not meant to baby talk them. A child with a Mercury in Capricorn, for example, they want to be respected and they want to be talked to like an adult. They actually have like an old mentality. They just kind of know things that other children may not even think about until they're older. And so certain Mercury placements indicate how a child hears you best, but most importantly, how they learn best. And this is a big question a lot of parents ask me is around learning issues, learning complications, types of education, types of schooling. What is best for my child? I often say, is it ADHD or does your child just have a Mercury in Gemini? Because Mercury and Gemini people are very multi-passionate. They're overly curious. They're thinking about 10 things at once. They've got like a Rolodex of information. And so a child with this placement, it's not that they have ADHD, it's that they're eternally curious. They ask why a lot. They want to know everything. And so again, knowing these placements in your child's chart is going to be super helpful because you're not going to misdiagnose them. You're going to understand their superpowers. Maybe your child needs to be in a public school system. Maybe they thrive around connection and community. They want to be around a bunch of other kids and collaborate with other children and build relationships. But maybe your child needs to be homeschooled. They need quiet, peaceful energy. They need solo attention. Maybe they need to go to a very creative school because they have a mind that thinks a little bit differently, like Albert Einstein and Tesla and Elon Musk. Like they just have a different mind. So I always go first to Mercury with my parents. It brings them so much peace. It answers so many questions. It helps them relate better to their child because if you're communicating in a language that they understand, how amazing is that, right? Solves so many problems. Most parenting experts and relationship experts agree that communication is the number one obstacle to forming deeper connections with another person. So relational astrology and using it as a parenting hack can already eliminate that common issue. Now, let's say your child is grown, they're an adult child, and you're having a really hard time connecting with them because they no longer live under your roof. And so you call them and you text them and you don't hear anything back. You might have a child that doesn't want the details of your day. They don't care that you went to bunko or you play pickleball. They just want the details. They want the facts. That is an example of my mother and my brother. When she communicates with me, I like details. I want to know what's going on. I ask her so many questions. We could talk for hours. But in my brother's birth chart, it looks very different. He is straight to the point, nothing but the facts. Like, don't keep him waiting. He's already on to the next thing. He's busy. And so I have to remind my mom where she wants to share her feelings and she wants to communicate and just have time with him. I'm like, he's not listening. You can't give him the fluff. Give him the facts and then say, hey, I need you over here by 5 o'clock. Boom, done. Don't tell him why. Don't tell him the whole story, right? He's not listening. And so this has just been super beneficial because everybody wins. Everyone feels like they're being heard, and we can move on from there. Now, another very common thing I recommend all parents look up in their child's chart, or for any child that you are supporting, no matter, again, if you're a teacher or who you are, is the child's moon sign placement. Now, I have an entire episode on moon signs, so I'm going to highly encourage you to go binge that episode, find out what the moon sign is of this child, and go listen to that episode into that timestamp for that moon. Because the moon for a child is going to symbolize how they feel when they're triggered. Now, this can be a lifesaver for any parent because when you wake up in the middle of the night and you've got a presentation at work in the morning and your child is screaming at 2 a.m. and you just want to get them to go back to bed, their moon sign is the key. This is what's going to make them feel safe, secure, comforted. Exactly what you need to do to calm down a temper tantrum if they're in the middle of the grocery store and you're so embarrassed and you're like, make it stop. You're going to have the hack because not every child is the same. We have 12 different moon signs, 12 different ways that we can calm down a child. So I love helping parents understand this about their child. So between the Mercury and the moon, that's already a lot of information. Now, another thing that I like to remind parents is that when your child is born, you probably know what season your child was born in, right? Aries season, Taurus season, whatnot. But babies are actually born their south node placement first. In your birth chart, there is a placement called the south node, and this indicates your past life energy. When you are born, remember the analogy, you are a soul, you come to earth school, you embody a physical vehicle. You already have a vibration in your soul of your past lives, your natural default setting, the energy that you've mastered in previous lifetimes. That is your south node. So babies were actually born our south node before we grow and start shining like our sun sign. That usually happens around age 7. And so it's really important to know, when they say, oh, an Aries baby, a Taurus baby, unless that baby's over 7, you better be talking about their south node placement. Another fun thing that I talk to with parents in one-on-one sessions when it comes to their children is understanding the sibling relationship. Because usually with siblings, it goes one of 2 ways. Either they get along, they're 2 peas in a pod, they're best friends, or they're constantly fighting, they're constantly getting on each other's nerves, and there's nothing they can do together. You have to keep them separated. How do you know which one is the scenario for your children? Looking at their birth charts. What commonalities do they have? Is there maybe one child that has a particular sun sign and the other child has that moon sign? And so the one child automatically makes the other child feel safe. Maybe one child has a Venus in Aquarius. And so how they feel loved is through Aquarius energy. And the other child has a Mercury in Aquarius. So when the one child speaks and communicates and talks to their sibling, the other sibling feels seen and understood and valued and appreciated. It's so unique to do sibling compatibility readings. And oftentimes I'm even doing full family readings. I love these. These are my favorite. They obviously take a little bit of time, but we're looking at both parents. We're looking at all the children. We're connecting the dots of what they need, helping each parent understand that each one brings its own energy to the children. And this is a really fun topic. Let's talk about it for a second. How often, if you are in a partnership and you have a child with this person, is one child favor a particular parent? Like they're just gravitated to the father figure or they gravitate to the mother figure. Why is that? Again, it goes back to the birth chart commonalities. Maybe the parent has a Mercury in a certain element and the child does too. And so they just vibe. They can chit chat with the same energy. Maybe it's a scenario like my mother and I, where she's a sun sign Cancer and I'm a moon sign Cancer. And that just helps us click and understand one another. Now remember, using astrology as a tool is helping us have the best compatibility with any relationship. So it doesn't mean that your birth chart indicates that you are not meant to have a good relationship with your child and the other parent will have a better relationship. The more that you lean in, the more that you understand, the more that you learn, the more that you uncover in your child's chart, the more awareness you have to meet them where they're at. This is the last thing I want to bring up about working with parents and children. You have to let them live their own birth chart. We're not here to tell them, hey, you need to be more outgoing or you need to be quieter. You need to do this. You need to do that. No, their chart is what they need to be. Oftentimes, I'm helping parents course correct. Their child is 12 and they don't want to play sports anymore. They don't want to play guitar. They don't want to do all these things. That's okay. Maybe you got them to play the guitar because that's what you thought they would like. And maybe they did for a minute. But now as they grow up, they become more in alignment of their own blueprint. And they no longer want to do that. Sometimes a child is very intuitive, gifted, psychic when they're younger. And the parent freaks out. And they don't know what to do until we read the chart. And I remind them, no, this is a gift. This is a superpower. Nurture that. Don't let them lose that. This is here to help guide them on their journey here on Earth School. So it's a really exciting thing for me to do, to work with parents one-on-one. And I hope you have some examples to see how beneficial this tool can actually be. Now, shifting gears a little bit is not only the power of astrology to understand your child's instruction manual and exactly what it is that they need, but even more than that, we can look at upcoming cycles in their life. In astrology, we have the planet Saturn. And everyone knows about the Saturn return, but do you recognize that every 7 years we go through a Saturn up level? First, it's a Saturn square, then it's a Saturn opposition, then it's a second square, and then it's a Saturn return, as Saturn journeys all the way around your child's birth chart. And these are pivotal growth and maturing stages of a child's life. When a child is 7, they mature, right? All of a sudden they can speak and they have their own opinions and they want more responsibility and they want more independence and freedom. And then at 14, that happens again, even in a bigger way. And at 21, even more so, or usually they're flying the nest and they want all this independence and feel like they know everything, very mature, right? And then we get to 28, 29, 30 when we go through our Saturn return. This is one example, but we have many other planets that are going to impact and affect your child's chart. We've got the terrible twos, which is when Mars returns back to the area of the sky where it was when your child was born. Mars is the planet of temper, anger, irritation. It is the chi, it is the vitality of your child. So all of a sudden when the Mars return comes back, that's when we know we are going to have that terrible 2 or terrible 3s energy and how long it's going to last. So this is helpful for parents because they know seasons and cycles of their child's life and what to anticipate and how to work with it. So there's no confusion. There's no doubting. I think with parents often that I hear, they're always asking, am I doing the right thing? What if my child this? And what about that? Even if the child is 30 or 40, I'm still helping parents understand. So transits and understanding how your child's going to be impacted and at what times of their life is so helpful. Again, I wish, and I'm sure you wish, if you're into astrology, that your parents had this knowledge and information when you were younger to help guide you and support you on your journey. Now, there's one last thing I do want to kind of bring up that is very interesting to know in a child's chart, and that is going to be their Chiron placement. Now, this is a placement that is a wound, a trigger, a trauma, a fear. And this can be seen often in children where they have like this really irrational fear that doesn't make any sense. So maybe they're terrified of water. Maybe they're terrified of being alone in their bedroom. Maybe they're terrified of eating certain foods. And it doesn't make any sense. Chiron in our birth charts is connected to a past life and usually how we have passed in that previous lifetime. So we bring that energy into this lifetime and it becomes this subconscious fear. And that is something we're meant to heal in this lifetime. So understanding these parts of your child's chart helps you kind of understand them a little bit better. Their quirks, their uniqueness, their lessons, their North Node. The North Node is their North Star, the energy they're meant to learn in this lifetime, and so much more. I could literally go on and on. If you're following me over on any of the social platforms, I'm doing a deep dive for the month of April into all different things to help parents hack their child's birth chart, learn more about using the tool of astrology when it comes to conscious parenting. So head over there. I do have some really exciting announcements. So we'll kind of end this episode with our usual What's in Our Orbit, where I talk about all the things that are going on in the Astro family that you can reach out and grab if you so choose. And of course, we've got so many exciting things going on, but I'm going to focus in on tools and resources that can help you as a parent. So first and foremost, I created a free guide for you. It is a mini workshop diving in specifically to your child's Mercury placement and how to speak so they can actually hear you. Diving into their listening language. You can get that video for free in the description box and then pull up their chart and look for their Mercury placement. You will learn so much. Also, I have an Astrology for Parents masterclass where we're going to deep dive even more into all the things that we talked about today. We're going to dive into other key pieces of your child's chart you're going to want to know, key pieces that you're going to want to look for, what makes your child very unique. Maybe your child was born during a C-section. Maybe your child was born on an eclipse. Maybe your child was born with some sort of physical or mental challenge, and you want to understand it a little bit better. We're going to dive in that astrology masterclass. If you are catching this episode before the end of April, that masterclass will be for free. So again, there'll be a link in the description box where you can sign up to get the Zoom link. We're going to be on live, and that's going to be a really good overview to help you as a parent. And then last but not least, this is the first time I'm going to be announcing this, that I have been working for the past 3 years to perfect the most in-depth Astrology for Parents course. I have worked with hundreds of parents to make sure that I had enough knowledge and wisdom to truly understand what it is that parents need to know to formulate the best relationship with their child. I have researched, I have studied, I have watched videos, I have hacked the way in which to educate you to use your child's instruction manual the most efficiently. So the Astrology for Parents course is going to be live as of April 19th. You can enroll, you can sign up. We are kicking off the first round, starting off at the beginning of May. I wanted to do this before summer break because that is when, as a parent, you're going to be with your child a lot more. You are going to be going on vacation with them. You're going to be spending more time with them. You're going to be preparing them for the upcoming school year. And this may give you an opportunity to adjust or pivot anything that you need in your child's life to help support them better based on their unique energetic blueprint. So here's what the course is going to look like. Essentially, it is going to be 15 modules that is going to go through all the different key pieces of your child's chart. This is going to be so in-depth that it is more impactful than a one-on-one session with me. And the best part about it is it's self-paced. Because I know my parents, y'all are busy. You don't have time to sit down live when we schedule something on Zoom. You don't have time to even watch the entire 40-minute class in one sitting. This will be self-paced and you will have lifetime access to all of these modules. And even better if you have more than one child, because you're going to be able to go through each module for each child and compare and contrast and understand them. You are also going to get not only the 15 modules helping you understand your child's instruction manual, but you are also going to get my Astrology 101 course for free. Because if you're new to astrology and you're like, yes, I'm a parent, yes, I want to understand my child better, yes, I want to know their instruction manual, but I don't know anything about astrology, I got you. It is going to include Astrology 101. You're going to learn about the planets, the zodiac sign, the houses, how to use astrology as a tool, and all of that will be available to you immediately when you enter into the class. And then the modules will drop each and every week. So you don't have to overwhelm yourself. You're not going to have to watch everything at once. It's bit by bit. And again, you'll have lifetime access. And the first time I launch this course, it is going to have bonus live calls with me. So you're going to get 2 live calls to integrate, to ask questions. You can send me your child's birth chart before the calls, and I can use it as a demo to help you understand even deeper if you have more questions. And then cherry on top, you are also going to be able to enter into our Astrology for Parents Telegram group, where you can meet with like-minded parents who are already using the tool of astrology in their parenting. They can share more hacks, they can share more tips, they can tell you what works for their child who has a moon in this sign or a Mercury in that sign or a Venus in this sign. This is such an exciting project for me. Again, I've been working on it for 3 years and it's ready to be birthed. It is my baby, my gift to the world. And if you want more information on it, you can head to the landing page in the description box below. I hope to see you in the course live, but no matter what, come to the free masterclass. Let me know over on social media, what did you learn today? Let me know what else you're curious about to find in your child's birth chart. If you're wondering, hey, could it explain this? Could it explain that? Let me know. I'm here to help you. I'm here to serve you. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for being a part of my Astro family. I will catch you in our next episode. And until then, may the stars keep guiding you on your path.
Thank you so much for tuning in today and spending some of your magical minutes on Earth with me. Find me on Instagram or TikTok at The Relational Astrologer, where we connect daily and vote on future episode topics. If today's episode offered new insights, make sure you subscribe. And if you're finding value here, consider leaving a review. It helps others seeking harmony in their relationship find us too. Thank you so much for being a part of my Astro family. I'm so grateful you came into my orbit.